Hi, today we're going to be talking about Jupiter's movement through all the astrological signs and what that means for you and everyone else. My name is Michael Bartlett, Master Metaphysical Astrologer, and I offer metaphysical astrology, experiential and astrological coaching to provide you with the profound transformation you seek and the empowerment you need. Please check out my website, coremichael.com, for more information. So as you can see from this opening screen, that Jupiter offers many different experiences and expressions across the zodiac, just like all the other signs. And you'll begin to see some similar patterning that you've been seeing in my previous videos. And we'll begin to give you more of an overall sense of what each planet does within each of the signs. But today's topic is going to be about Jupiter going through the signs. So, of course, when we talk about Jupiter, we are talking about the largest planet in the solar system. The glyph looks like a stylized number 4. Jupiter can stay in a sign for about a year and takes about 12 years to go through all signs. So when you look at your Jupiter transit, what you're looking at is 12-year cycles throughout your life and see if there's patterns that go on. And you can see how Jupiter is affecting you in your life. Jupiter goes retrograde about every 13 months for about 120 days or 4 months total. It represents our need to believe, our faith, and our philosophies, and reveals how you expand, accumulate by element and where it is in the house and where you can find some of your sweet spots in life. Very exciting in that way. Here's a picture of the great big giant. And as we are talking about the ways in which the planets are in position between the Earth, the sun, or whichever planet, and the outer constellations, and how those are reflected back to us and bringing energy back to us here on the planet. So, of course, when we begin, we always talk about the first sign of the zodiac, which is Aries. It's the beginning of spring. It's the astrological new year. When we talk about Jupiter in the sign of Aries, we're talking about big, bold beliefs. We're talking about almost a large fearlessness in a way, a sense of bravado. We can see he's dressed up, of course, in the soldier outfit that we have for Aries, and he's in the dressing room trying to figure out what he needs to do. He's getting ready to just go forth and live his life in the biggest way possible, taking probably as many risks as he can and seeing where exactly his strengths and his powers, his philosophies and his beliefs play out and testing them. That's really what I would say with Aries is it's the right to be. It's trying to be. So with Jupiter, it's really going to be testing those boundaries in so many different ways. Jupiter moves into Taurus. We have a very calm and relaxed Jupiter who's seeking to really enjoy the finer points in life. Jupiter in Taurus is probably going to have a pretty good sized home, collecting lots of physical objects. We're talking about fixed earth sign. This is a bon vivant. This is someone who's going to be the life of the party. So as soon as people are around, they're going to want to entertain and have a great time and enjoy, and making sure that people really appreciate the value and the quality of the time together. Very fun, expansive experience with Jupiter. Jupiter then moves into one of its harder signs to play with when it comes to with Gemini, because Gemini is, of course, the talker, and Jupiter likes to expand things. And so, what do we get? We get a prolonged talker. You get someone who's really can be amazingly long-winded, has a never-ending amount of questions that need to be asked and sought after, and really someone who is going to be quite busy, almost like a little bit of a whirlwind type of a person. This is just a lot going on when it comes to Jupiter and air sign. A little bit almost, I would say, probably like a little bit of a tornado at times, because it's going to take a little while to figure out how to focus that energy into singularity and to bringing things into wholeness as opposed to just all the different chaotic parts that sometimes can happen with Gemini. With Jupiter, there can really, depending on the aspects of Jupiter, we're speaking about really just a lot of information coming in. This can be a little bit frazzling at times. And so I think it's really important to find ways to settle down for this Jupiter, or to take walks, or to expend that energy in a way so it doesn't just build up and create a bit of a chaos for everyone around. Jupiter in Cancer, what a beautiful placement for Jupiter. The blessings of the home, the blessings of children, going to be seeking to want to really do lots of family things and clan things, and seeking out what's the right ways to make home bigger and better and more improved and more comfortable for everyone. Jupiter moving over into the sign of Leo is going to be quite an expressive individual. This is going to be someone who's going to really be able to take the stage. This is someone who can hold presence. This is someone who can dictate orders. believing in themselves in a really big way. This is going to be learning how to moderate that flame, of course, because with Jupiter, it's going to really expand it. So this Jupiter and Leo, the only thing we're really going to have to worry about is how that ego works. Are we being self-centering or are we being self-centered in a big way? And the way that this Leo can really work, this Jupiter and Leo, is about warming and helping other people in a way and being creative and playful. There's a lot of fun here with Leo and Jupiter and Leo. There's a lot of fun and playfulness about wanting to experience these different ways of being. Lots of lovers, probably, maybe lots of children. Could be lots of children with different partners because it's Jupiter. And these are our self-expressions when it comes to the sign of Leo. So our self-expression is really big. People are going to know this is almost like could also be really a caricature kind of a placement at times, because these are people who are going to probably have really well-known facial features or an expression they have that a lot of people respond to. Jupiter then moves over into Mercury's other sign of Virgo. This is also not a very easy place for him because this is a lot of details. And with Jupiter, this is going to mean more details, more things to keep track of, more ability to be discriminating in a great way. This would be someone who'd be a really great hospital administrator or someone who'd be really good for taking care of people for healthcare, because it's this idea of the larger collection of how we take care of others, how we pay attention to details. It's going to be a person who can actually go into those little details and the fineness of where it's being presented, but also have the ability to step out a little bit, almost like an air sign, and be able to see things. But until that mechanism in the self gets developed, it's going to be, can be also a little bit chaotic. So with that Jupiter and Virgo, it's going to be really important to pay attention to the details, pay attention to how things are perceived and how things are understood, and whether the ideas you have in your head about things are realistic, getting checked out and tested, or whether they're just things that just need to be set aside and they no longer work for you. I want to thank Christine Cianci, the amazing artist who painted all of the Astro Theater figures by hand in oil and scanned them, got them all together. We placed them into a book, and now it's available for you. Kindle, Apple, and your favorite bookstore. Then that Jupiter moves into Libra. This is going to be someone who's really about fair-mindedness. You can see there's an elegance about, there's a presence. So this is someone who's really going to foster relationships, foster important connections with people so that they can enjoy the beauty and the harmony that involves relationships. They're going to be seeking people who are beautiful. That's going to be a real important part with Jupiter in Libra, ruled by Venus, is finding that way of being almost a little bit larger than life in a sense. This would be almost like a Cary Grant or a George Clooney type of a personality, where it's just really almost disarming to people at times because the charm can be so strong. Then Jupiter moves into the sign of Scorpio. This allows a person to start seeing the harder side of life in a way that might allow them to, Scorpio is always going to be very serious. Jupiter's not really serious at times. So it's this interesting juxtaposition. So this is someone who probably would have a really interesting sense of humor. I'd really love to hear about you who have this placement, Jupiter and Scorpio. I would think there would be this almost dark humor in a sense, this ability to see the funny things in life that aren't all that easy. Finding this humor and this sense of relatability, but also this ability to go down in very deeply and very expansively and to feel on a very deep and great level. This would be a very sensitive person that would pick up on a lot of nuanced energy and would probably need to be able to define and differentiate between their own energy and other people as well, because sometimes that energy would be coming at them and they wouldn't really be clear about what that energy might be. And Jupiter moves into its ruling sign of Sagittarius. This is the grand adventurer. This is the person who is always taking these really big, long, extended trips, believes in amazing philosophies, and is always questioning, always wondering, what is the truth of life? What is the meaning of life? This is because this is Jupiter seeking this bigger, deeper meaning between Scorpio and Sagittarius. Like, we're getting into these later signs that are a little bit more complex and complicated and have more nuanced understandings. And so as that Jupiter becomes more mature There's going to be a width and a depth to that Jupiter. In the beginning, that Jupiter can be maybe considered a little bit flighty or a little bit just running off in a bunch of different directions. And over time, that Jupiter is going to find ways to be a little bit more unified and create a larger field of experience in the adventures and bringing people along, which would be very exciting for everyone involved. Then Jupiter moves into the sign of Capricorn, which is Saturn signs. Jupiter doesn't really like being in Saturn's signs because it's a little bit pinched. And Jupiter doesn't like to be pinched. Jupiter doesn't like to have any sort of a limitation put on him for how he's experiencing things. So this would be someone who'd be like a big business person. This would be someone who is very successful at managing lots of physical details that are involved with creating businesses, corporations. This is someone who, depending on what, again, each of these planets are always going to be modified by what we call aspects, which are the relationships that other planets make to them that can either make the expression of this planet more positively presented or it can be more challengingly presented. And that all depends on how this plays out. So please know that when I talk about these energies, these are a little bit more pure energies in them and not really being affected. But of course, we know that is impossible, that we're always going to have other influences that are affecting these planets and making these changes. The Jupiter in Capricorn, it's not going to be really easy because they're going to really want success pretty early on. They're going to really see that larger, bigger picture. And it's going to be a little bit of a longing for stepping into that place of success, stepping into that place of reaching a certain level of social status and doing well in life. And and that's the thing with Capricorn anyway. It's Saturn ruled again, so it takes time. Jupiter wants things a little bit more quickly, as we can see, like with Jupiter in Sagittarius. But with Jupiter in Capricorn, work has to be done. And Jupiter really doesn't like to be doing work. Jupiter really likes to be receiving the benefits of the work. There is a great opportunity for success. There is a larger viewpoint, of course, a higher philosophy applied to business and understanding that maybe by working together, we can accomplish our goals, that creating benefic situations for workers will create happier workers and therefore create profits. What I really like about Jupiter in the Saturnian signs is that it gives Jupiter structure. It gives Jupiter a way in which it could manifest its dreams as long as you are willing to do the work. So those of you who have Jupiter in Capricorn, as long as you're setting up your daily schedules, you're working on things towards reaching those goals that you want to seek, it's going to be really important. These are also going to be people whose status is going to be very important, that they're going to be status seekers, the status makers. These are people who really make a change in the world, even though this is not a favored sign for Jupiter. An interesting aspect about Jupiter that not many people understand is because we see it as a benefic, it expands anything that's there. So whatever's going on in the realm where Jupiter is, it just makes things bigger. So this might be someone who wants to collect businesses or collect artwork or collect successful friends in order to make oneself look better. The other thing I find that is very important when it comes to Jupiter is that because it expands whatever is there, people think that is always really good. But the truth is, whatever it is that you love, if you have it every day, if you have it every minute, it begins to be too much. So if you enjoy your sweets, like when Jupiter's in some signs, there's going to be a lot more of a sweet tooth, like when we get into the sign of Aquarius. And these are the things then we have to really be careful and moderate around. And so I think that's where it really helps having these Saturnian ruled signs when Jupiter goes through it. Jupiter then moves into the second Saturnian ruled sign, which is Aquarius, fixed air. These are big thinkers. In esoteric astrology, Jupiter is the ruler of Aquarius. And so there is a very interesting understanding that the larger minded Aquarian offers some sort of a soul-centered benefit to the individual. On the personality level, it's challenging because Jupiter's wanting to expand things, expand ideas, large frameworks of understanding. These would be people who'd be really great at astrology, as long as, again, like we were talking about in the last sign, that you're working with your structure, that you're working with the daily process of making things work. Jupiter doesn't really like structure. Jupiter doesn't care much for that which restrains him. But what's nice when Jupiter moves into the sign of Aquarius is it's ruled in a traditional level by Saturn and on the modern day level with Uranus. So this means that there is both a structured security as well as an out of the box sort of thinking. And I think Jupiter fits in really well in this in Aquarius because it just is going to expand that. So if you're really good at working and structuring and setting up the things you need to do, this is going to be great, as well as the ways in which you might be really different or really odd. Maybe you're having a big mohawk, or maybe you like to have your nails really long and oddly colored, or maybe you have an interesting relationship with people, or maybe you collect friends that are very different and quirky. This is also someone who would do really well in lodges. As we can see here, we are in this sort of a classical themed room, which is the place of where organizations and groups get together. So this is someone who can also be really good at managing and organizing organizations as well as larger groups. And Jupiter moves into the last sign it rules, which is Pisces. This is a really powerful and beautiful place for Jupiter as he's home. So for those of you with Jupiter and Pisces, this is a beautiful presence in relationship to spirit, in relationship to artwork, in relationship to creativity. We can see it, as always, dressed up in the diaphanous gowns of Pisces with the crystal balls, an inherent empathy, an inherent understanding, an inherent sensitivity to that which is life. And as Jupiter is the second largest planet in our solar system after the sun, if we consider the sun a planet, which we do in astrology, then we can really consider this Jupiter, which in esoteric astrology, we see Jupiter as love. This is a beautiful place because this is transcendental love. This is love of the one. This is a level of acceptance and understanding. These are people who really aren't quite attached to things. They can let things go pretty well, but they just have a big spiritual mind. These are the people you want to go to talk about whatever your problems are, or when you're trying to venture into spirituality and understanding the nuances and differences between spirituality and religion, this Jupiter in Pisces is going to come really handy. If you're liking what I'm offering, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends. Please comment. I love your comments. I love your questions. I love the interactions. Please visit my website, coremichael.com, for more information about what I offer. This is such a treat to be able to share these images and this understanding of how astrology unfolds. And I hope you're enjoying receiving it as much as I do giving it. Thank you so much. And I wish you a wonderful day. Take care.